I'm a very inquisitive person by nature. I love stories, real life stories, reading biographies and hearing about what makes successful people tick. I wanted to sit with individuals who inspire you and I, look into their core beliefs, habits and life journey and purpose. We're currently in a world of social media where everyone is putting their best on display. I want people to let us know what it's really like when you feel like you're not winning. What sacrifices have they had to make in order to win? I hope their stories will inspire, encourage and motivate you not to give up on your dreams. We are going to be digging deep on My Story with Esther. Do you know how we first met?
I don't remember.
It was over the phone.
Hey.
Yeah.
What did I want? Or what did you want?
You called in to the magazine show.
Okay.
And you're like, yes, Esther, doing a good job right there. I was like, okay, thank you. But who's DJ Abass? So I was a bit naive in terms of who was in the industry. I've been doing this about 10 years now.
Okay.
So that was a freshie.
Good while back.
Freshie. Mm-hmm. No idea what live TV was all about, nothing.
Once you get the hang of it, because
Yeah.
we did intro for 10 episodes, recorded.
Yeah.
Recorded when we started. We'll go and record one edition.
So it wasn't live?
It wasn't live when we started, it was recorded. And we'd do a 1 hour program, because it was 1 hour when we started. And it would take us about 6 hours.
A whole day, more or less.
We just go in and move 6 hours. And then one day I got to the studio. Ayo had not told me. He knew I had a phobia for life. He didn't tell me. He just said, get there for 7 that day. I said, 7? Okay, he said, just get there. And I got there 7 and they were miking me and says, Abass, we're going live today. I said, I just froze. He said, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And I stuttered at the beginning. He said, because normally I was the one that was keeping people back. Any mistake, I said, let's do it again. And then
So
we did
you
live.
You love your retake.
2 hours this time though.
Okay.
2 hours live.
Yeah.
And when we started doing live, I could never do recorded again. Because live, you do your 2 hours, boom, you're gone.
Exactly.
You know, and then it was interactive.
Yeah.
You know, so people could call in.
And
ask
live is
questions.
better because
Live
you're
is-
more yourself.
Life is always better.
Yeah.
Life is always better. That was how I started building my database.
But I tell you what I love about you.
Thank you so much, Ujiri, before you say it.
You've always been an encourager. To me personally anyway. Because after the conversation, after the phone call, I'm like, who's DJ Abass? And then I think 6 months down the line, I met you at Jay Martin's concert.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of you guys there, and you were like, so you're doing a great job, because obviously I'd taken over from somebody,
Yeah, sure.
and I had no previous experience. And the person that was there before,
Was that Adora?
yeah, she was good.
Yeah. No, Adora was.
So I was like, oh my God, they really
Well,
want
she
me to-
started like you as well. It was at first as well.
And I was, you know, but I took it on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I remember at Jay Martin's concert.
I remember that show for many reasons.
So do I. I think that's why it sticks to my
That was at
head.
Ocean in Hackney.
Yeah.
Same venue we had at Benga Adeyinka show.
It wasn't the same as in terms of crowd.
If I tell you what went wrong that day, you will not. A lot of things went wrong. Number one, our headliner didn't come. Nice. Nice was
so
the
that's
headliner
what
for that
happened.
show.
Okay.
He was the headliner, and for God knows what happened to him. He just said he couldn't make it. And so basically, that was what happened
Okay.
because he couldn't make it.
But I remember you asking me, so do you produce as well? And I looked blankly at you. Oh, you need to learn to start producing.
No, production is because then it's your narrative. Because you can only present the real test. If you really want to go, many people, young girls, say, DJ Abass, yeah, I want to be a presenter. I said, that's not a job, really.
Yeah.
Because then anybody can present, really. But then once you start to become responsible for the content,
Yeah, the
you start to have a vision of what you want people to see on screen. That is really when, because then you are bigger than the program, really technically. You can go on and float. And that was the first thing I learned as well, because with Ayo and Timmy,
Yes.
Ayo was the brains for the program, Timmy was the tech, I was the face. So there were times Ayo would have to go to America, but already I was doing a bit of, I just didn't know it was production at the time.
Yes.
I'll go and source guests,
Yes.
and then I'll script what I want done.
Yes.
And Ayo will go for like 6 weeks, no problem. Everything everything nice and sweet. I realized, okay, I like this production side of things, you know, and then start to take interest in camera, start to take interest in
other things.
And that's me. Oh.
Yeah.
And then one thing I've learned is if you grow, I grow.
That's true. I like that.
Rule number one. It's a big problem in the black community.
Yeah.
Everybody is just doesn't want to do their own thing, you know. And then they become successful doing their little thing. But that's it. That is it. The bigger picture is always best. I always say, if you grow, I grow. Get people, not just anybody though, people who can
add
also,
value.
because if they improve,
You improve.
it feeds off. Right now, I can call anybody in the industry.
Yeah.
That is the advantage.
You have a great network.
If I don't have your number, there's a problem. That's why I say I have everybody's number.
Yeah.
You know, and I have over 16,000 numbers on this phone.
What?
And what I say is, not everyone of them will come to my events. But the thing is, as long as they keep getting messages from me, they know one, I'm in the mix.
Yeah.
If they ever want to do anything, you're going to be the first. So for business, it works. You're going to be the first they're going to call. I learned that. And I'm always looking out for young people who know how to do stuff. Because what they don't have is my know-how and experience. So I try and encourage them, do it this way. Talent is not enough. Talent is how many percent in this business? Talent is 10%.
Hard work is 90.
90 is your network, your tenacity, you know, it's your hunger.
27.
Let me serve myself. And I think if black people start to do that more,
Yeah.
it's very, very important.
How's the dynamics in your household? So if we're talking about you as a man, a Nigerian,
Hopefully.
a Nigerian man. So I've always kind of wondered, in terms of roles, how does it work for you?
I'm very domesticated.
Okay.
I am not your typical Nigerian man.
I
do a lot of things some Nigerian men will classify as taboos. I'm just like that. I'm very hands-on.
Yeah.
My wife is a fantastic cook, but I cook very well as well.
So you take turns?
Not even turns. Whoever is available to do it
cook.
at that
like
point.
that.
So, and trust me, I can cook anything. So, and remember, I'm at home. I work from home most of the time. My wife goes to work.
Yes.
So most of the time is a situation, she can't just come back from work and then jump into the kitchen.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Not all men think like you though.
Well, the modern man has to, especially the modern African man.
Yeah.
Because at times that's part of the problems a lot of relationships have. A lot of our people come with an African mindset to the UK.
But even that's changing.
It's changing, but it's not changing fast enough.
Yeah.
But it's changing. Certainly it's changing. Even back home, it's changing.
Yeah.
You know, so certain things, I always say, I live in a household where it's a 2-income household.
Yeah.
2 of us earn money.
That's good.
So it's our money.
Yes.
It's not my money, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you just realize everybody's better for it. So certain things have to change. And DJ Abass out there is very different from DJ Abass at home. But then I met a lot of young people as well. Maybe they're getting married or they just married, they had, have the usual issues, you know. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go out. So we'll go out, have a drink, and we'll talk over it. I said, look, relax. So you are in chapter 1. It's just like you're playing a 90-minute game, and 5 minutes into it, you're already having issues. Now, this marriage is a marathon.
But what made you choose your wife?
I don't know. I don't think I chose her.
Yeah.
It just happened. I had finished university, and you finish university and then you go and get your call-up letter for NYSC.
Okay. I don't know the system in Nigeria.
So there's the National Youth Service Corps, which is a
I know the
compulsory
National
1-year service when you finish at university or any higher institution. So I went to pick up my call-up letter, and my wife had just joined. I just, got admission to university.
Okay.
So while I was picking up the call-up letter,
she
had come to get her admission letter, and in that hallway, I met her. And I just liked her. And then we have a mutual friend who was a year my junior in school at the time, but who had already known her anyway. So he was like, that's DJ Abass. No, that's Platini. I used to play football in school. That's Platini, blah, blah, blah. And we spoke. There were no numbers then. So we just spoke, exchanged names, and that was it. Next day, I was going back to Lagos. And who did I see at the car park? Her again.
Wow.
And I said, nah, I have to close in on this one now. and that was it. And then we only started dating probably about 8 months later. But we kind of like just got to know each other, and everything just gelled. And in between, I had to come to the UK in 91, remember?
Yes.
So I only went back to marry her properly in 94.
Okay, so in 91, you were working in the UK?
No, in 91, I was working in Nigeria as a journalist with The Guardian.
Ah.
But I decided I wanted to see the world.
So you left the
So a lot of my friends were, so I left The Guardian and came to the UK. But I was dating my girlfriend at the time.
Okay, your wife.
Wife later, then at the time. So, but we kept it going because even while I was here, I just felt I've met my perfect partner.
You knew from that early
Yeah,
age.
I just felt it. So I don't think it's love at first sight, but there was a
Yeah.
connection certainly, and I just
Okay.
felt, yeah, this is the person, and I just committed to that,
And that was
and that was it. And also, it didn't change on her end as well,
Yeah.
which is great. So yeah, so that worked.
That's good.
So I would say relationships, it's you can meet. It could have been in a club, it could have been at a market, it could have been anywhere. You know, it's just about connecting. And I always say, so marriage is not for everybody.
You actually think marriage is not for everyone?
Marriage is commitment, a lot of work. A lot of work. Some people marry out of culture. Oh, everybody's marrying, but it's not for everybody. So it's not a bad thing if people are not married.
So, let's go back to the concert where Nice didn't show up. So I'm thinking, because that concert was empty.
Yes, it was.
Hands up. I was like, what's going on
In
here?
the life of any promoter,
Yeah.
you have your quiet moments.
It didn't look
good.
good.
That was a very, very quiet one for us.
Would you take that as a failure?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't. I think failure is important. Failure defines you. So maybe on the day,
Yeah.
we didn't make money, we lost money. Nice couldn't show up for reasons that were not really his fault, and we understood that though we had a contract, he couldn't show up. The numbers didn't come in. Funny enough, that was perhaps my first event you ever came to, and the show didn't pan out the way we wanted. And that's not the only one. I've had quite a few events in the past. But then the longer you remain in the business, such events start to reduce. Because also we're still learning at the time.
Yes.
So the longer you remain, you get to I'm at a certain point now where there's a Latin term called force majeure. I don't even know what it translates to in English right now.
Let me just how do you deal with disappointments?
How do I deal with disappointments?
Yeah.
I just shake it off.
Just like that?
Just like that. No, trust me, at this stage now. Years ago, I'll sit down, I'm worried, perhaps in my mind, because that's what I do for a living. So perhaps I'd estimated I was meant to make X amount of money from this show. And then that doesn't happen. And then there's a gap somewhere. And then I'm worried. But then as you get better and you improve, you have contingency plans. You predict better.
Okay.
And then you don't get worried. Nothing faces me now.
Can you remember your first ever feeling of, in terms of the industry, what you're doing, when it didn't plan out, how did you feel?
Quite a few of that. As a DJ, usually with shows, we plan shows, maybe the numbers are not right.
Yeah.
Maybe numbers are heavy and you have issues on the night, with how some people conduct themselves. Generally, most of my shows have been great.
Yeah.
But then you do have the ones that make you think back and think, God, why am I doing this? Why am I in this?
How was that feeling at the time?
It's a bad feeling because it's not just you, remember. You have a few people working for you on the night. Everybody gets paid, no doubt. But then you still have to deal with that side of things because you plan over the year. It's okay, I'm going to have 5 events. And pretty much the last show pays for the next one. So once you've had a bad show, so you now have to source funds for the next one.
Yeah.
And usually that's where the challenge is. At times you have a full house, but if the money is not just right. But see, on average, if you were to balance it all out, we're fine. So it always adds up at the end of the day. But then disappointments will come, that's life. And the older and more mature you get in the business, you learn to deal with it.
What was the deciding factor for you to become a DJ? And what did it...
I was already a DJ from back home.
Okay,
as
but
a
then you
campus
came
DJ.
over here.
But then
you
it
left
became
Guardian.
a vocation, full-time vocation here.
Yeah.
But then came over to the UK and then started working at Casey Jones.
And then you were doing DJing
But
on the
I had
side.
bought, but then I wasn't just going and play for free.
Okay.
And then I started.
But what did success look like for you then?
I couldn't define it.
Okay.
I couldn't define it at the time because obviously my first paying gig was 150 pounds. And then that might come across as little, but then if you put it into perspective, I was earning 125 to do 39 hours work. And then I've done an 8-hour gig. And you got doing what I like to do.
Yes.
And I got 150 pounds. The decision was not a difficult one.
No.
And also, go back in 1992, not many DJs on the scene.
Yes.
So there was a natural advantage. In those days, there was club action, but it was mostly house parties.
Yes.
London house parties. Yeah. I still miss them.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And then it got to the point I'll do Friday night, I'll do Saturday night, I'll do Sunday night. You know, doing what I like to do. So the moment I jumped on that DJing bandwagon, it just worked for me.
Okay. When are you at your happiest?
When I'm doing what I like to do.
Which is?
Entertainment. Anything in entertainment. For me, it's not work. It's not work. So it's a bonus getting paid. Trust me. I think that's what I was put in this planet to do. Just to make people happy, reach out to get numbers. I can talk for a living. I can pretty much sit anywhere and talk for 5 hours. I remember the time my mom saw the first edition of my show.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke and said, Yomi, I saw you on TV today. Hey! You talk. You have finally found your calling. I'm a chatterbox, you know. I love conversations.
But your conversation is good. You have a wealth of knowledge, which I love.
No,
so I like
thanks.
listening to you.
We learn every day, and we need to share knowledge as well.
Who's your Nigerian hero?
Too many of them.
Give me one that stands out.
Oh, too many. There are too many people I believe in. Too many people I believe in, and it's easy. I can say Fela, you know, all the guys. Part of what I do is read autobiographies, you know.
You read autobiographies?
Yeah, so when I see people who are successful, I go and buy them and just read up about them. Yeah. And you always pick something. So all those great Nigerians, you know, and there's usually a common thread that runs through all of them.
Which is?
Sticking to what they believe in, doing it. And at some point, you'll get your break. But you need to stick to it to get your break. You know, you need to be sure. I've met so many people, DJ Abass, you inspire me. Yeah. I want to be a presenter, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, what are you doing? Okay, no problem. You know what, hang around me for a month. Yeah. Then I give them my itinerary. So I'm doing a premiere somewhere, you know, hosting a red carpet thing. Come, event starts at 8. I want you there at 6, so get there for 6. I get there at 5. 7:30, he's not there yet. And then he shows up, Jubilee line. There's always an excuse, you know. And I say, already day one, there are issues. And usually 8 out of 10 don't have that X factor. You know, 8 out of 10. Perhaps it's because they're young, perhaps it's because they don't have it.
How do you deal with, your emotions? So when was the last time you cried and why?
When my dad died.
Aw, how many years ago?
My dad died 8 years ago. And that was the moment I actually started believing people could die.
Okay.
I knew people died, but I just never had somebody close to me die. I did not think anybody, that day was so, because it was my elder brother that called me.
Where were you?
I was driving.
And he told you why you were driving?
And you could tell he was struggling with it as well, because he just tried to make it quick. And I'm like, and that was the time, my wife she was worried. She'd never seen me cry before. So and I had to, and when my children arrived, I had to go into the room because I didn't want to see them. I didn't want them to see me crying.
Why?
Because I think it would have been too much for them.
Okay.
Toby was how old then? Toby was about 14 or 13. 14. Tomo was much younger. Yeah. Because there's a 9-year gap between them. And that hit me so hard. And I remember when Toby came and I went into the room and my wife told him, and then he came to the room to just say, sorry, Dad, you know. That's the only time I remember crying as an adult. Ever. You know.
You haven't cried since?
Well. not since, no. But that hit me. That hit me real. That hit me real hard. So, and when that happened, I now started seeing my mom differently, because now I know my mom can die. Okay. I never knew, and part of the regrets you get at times is you just think, oh, there were certain things you could have done. Yeah. So many things you could have, so many things were just flashing in my head. Maybe I could have done this, maybe I could have done that. I should be closer to him, calling a bit more. So many things just, So all those things now I do with my mom.
Does dying scare you? Do you have a fear?
No, I'm not worried of death. Death doesn't scare me. Never has. It's inevitable. Yeah. And it can come any time. It doesn't scare me. But up to that point, I never thought my dad could die. Yeah. And it wasn't like he was ill, so we're not. He had a heart attack. He died in his sleep. My mom found him dead, obviously, and he has a routine. He's Muslim, so he'll wake up in the morning. I remember growing up, once my dad wakes up first. Okay. Because he has to have his prayers at 5. Yes. So you hear all the movements, and then after his prayers, he'll come and wake us up properly get ready for school. So my dad is always the first to wake up. So obviously, my mom wakes up around 9, and she just realized everything is quiet. I went to check my dad. He was dead. It was cold. So, and then that was a hard time for me.
How did you cope with that? How did you come out of it?
Well, my wife, my children.
Okay.
And perhaps what also helped that, because he's Muslim, he was buried very quickly. Right. He was buried before sunset. And I don't do religion, as you know. Yeah. But if I was to die today, everybody knows 24 hours must not ride on my body.
Wow. You told your wife that?
Yeah. Inter me and get it over. Because you just realize that you start to deal with it better thereafter. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. What would your advice be to me on this journey?
Of life?
Life, being an entrepreneur in the media world.
Doing what you like to do, making a business of it, and keep pushing. And look at the most successful people in life. And it's just so unfortunate that we come from a society where we only measure success through money. Yes. Which is very important. Money is important, but I don't need to be a millionaire to be successful, no.
So what is success?
Success is actualizing your dream, and your dream taking care of you.
If you could go back to any age, what age would you want to go back to?
21.
Why?
Because you see, you always reflect on your mistakes. And you always say to yourself, oh, if I had known.
So what mistake did you make at 21?
No, see, it's not just at 21.
Yeah.
I look back and I see, even with the success I believe I have right now, there are so many things I believe I could have done. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So many things at different points. Oh, if I had done this, I could have done this.
Name one thing that sticks out.
Oh God, too many things.
Okay.
Too many things along the lines of business, my dad, too many things. So if I can go back to 21, I know. But then see life, remember, life itself has changed. So you still make mistakes. It comes with life. Yeah. You just don't want to make those mistakes that can put you under.
You know what? Let's do a cheers.
Yes, sir.
To positive.
To simplicity.
Yes.
And to positivity.
Yes.
And less complication.